Come take a comfortable seat on your yoga mat. We'll start here. I'm going to sit cross-legged, but you can sit however you want. And then nice and tall through your spine. Close your eyes. As you close your eyes, bring your attention, your awareness to your breath. If it's helpful, you can place your hands over your body to kind of feel the breath. And just taking a few quiet moments here as we enter our time for yoga practice. And then drop the head down to your chin to your chest. And let the head rock from side to side. Just side to side, side to side. That should help. Keep the right ear over towards your right shoulder. And walk the left hand out. And take the right hand on top of your left ear and give it a little more tug out to the side. And then bring both hands back to your lap. Chin to the chest and left ear over towards the left shoulder. Walk the right hand out to the side. Give it a little pause, a couple of breaths there. And then your left hand on top of the right ear. Nice and easy. Bring the hands back to the legs, chin to the chest. On an inhale, lift the arms up to the sky. Open your eyes and look up. Exhale, lower the hands down and twist. Look in one direction, twist. Inhale, lift both arms back up to the sky. And exhale, twist to the second direction. One hand a little more forward, one hand more back. Here we go again. Inhale, lift the arms up. This time, join the palms and bring them right down into the center of your body. This gesture, one of caring for yourself. Make sure you come back here to the thought and intention of being good through every breath, through every pose and movement. Good in terms of what feels good. And then bow all the way over and reach your arms out in front of you until you get a pretty good stretch from your fingertips through the arms, down the spine. And then change, adjust your weight to child's pose. It's that same position in the upper body. But this time, knees a bit apart, big toes together, and press your hips down towards your heels. In this child's pose, I want you to think of it a little bit like a tug of war, like someone's trying to hold your hands and pull your hands in one direction, but at the same time, pull your hips back in the opposite direction. Big, full, straight stretch and length. And then walk your hands a little bit over to the right side so that that same tug of war thing is happening, but mostly on the left side. And then walk your hands across the center on over to the second direction. Reach from the right hand back towards the right hip. Bring the hands back to the middle. Come up to all fours. Place the hands under the shoulders and the knees under our hips. Cat and cow pose. Drop the belly down. Make a big arch in your spine. Pull the chest through. Look up, eyes and tailbone to the sky. Moo. Cow pose. And then press down through your hands and knees, round your back and drop your head, a big arch, like a Halloween cat. Meow. Sound effects, totally unnecessary, but fun to add if you'd like. Just go back and forth in cat and cow here. Create as much change from the cow pose into cat pose as possible, really making a big difference between the two. And today I'm going to break down a sun salutation for us. Some are quite familiar with the movement, some are less familiar with that movement, I know. And we'll take it nice and slow so that we can really see and emphasize each position in the sun salutation. Okay, from here, downward facing dog. Tuck the toes and lift your hips up and back. So our down dog is the inverted V shape on the yoga mat. Pedal out your feet. Sometimes we say walk the dog here. Just pedal back and forth. And press just your right heel down to the mat. Keep your left knee bent. I think we did a lot of emphasis here last week, really opening up through the calf and ankle. And then switch and do the other side. Left heel down, right knee can bend. Good, full stretch from the top of the leg all the way down to the heel. And both heels evenly pressing towards the mat. Notice I say towards the mat. Oftentimes when we're working both legs at the same time, it's hard to get the heels all the way down. It's no big deal. They don't need to. Just the work, the stretch, the length. And finally come back down, knees to the floor, big toes together. Rest in child's pose. Create a pillow for your forehead with your hands. Let a few deep sighs out. Feel free to let a little noise out through the exhale breaths, whatever feels nice to you. Sometimes we need that extra bit of sound to give the release. Okay, lift your torso upright, bring the knees close together. And then take a little twist to the right. And a twist to the left. Come back to your middle. And then let's come all the way up to standing. Just however works for you, come on up to standing. We'll do half sun salutations first to kind of get the body and the breath moving together in the same rhythm, to the same music, if you will. Inhale, lift the arms all the way up to the sky, up and around. And then exhale, bend the knees and sweep the arms down to the floor. And you can keep the chin lifted and gaze a little bit forward here so that you don't have to drop the head the whole way. Inhale, stand back up, reach the arms all the way to the sky. And then palms together, center of the chest. So incrementally building on today. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, forward and down. Inhale, stand back up, lift the arms again to the sky, and palms together, center of our chest. Inhale, arms all the way up and around. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, stand back up, arms to the sky, and palms together, center of the chest. We'll go one more time like this today. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, stand back up, arms to the sky. And then palms together, center of the chest. 4 rounds, adding on a bit more. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, forward fold. This time, take your hands to your thighs, half lift, extend from your hips out to the crown of the head. And then forward fold. Inhale, stand up, lift the arms to the sky. Exhale, palms together, center of the chest. Keep going. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift, hands to thighs. If you have a little more length and flexibility, bring your hands to your shins. And then fold back over. Inhale, stand up, reach the arms to the sky. Palms together, center of the chest. Just one more time like this. Inhale, lift the arms high. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, stand up, lift the arms to the sky. Palms together, center of the chest. We keep going. We'll add on a bit more. Inhale, lift the arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Now this time, step back to a push-up position, the top of your push-up, plank pose. Squeeze your glutes, heels in, tone the belly. Look a little forward past the hands, stay at the top of your plank. And then lie flat down onto your belly. Ever so slightly, peel your chest up off of the yoga mat. Baby cobra, it's just a little lift. Look straight ahead in cobra. And then push back to child's pose. It's that tug of war position with somebody reaching your hands long out in front and at the same time trying to pull your hips back towards your heels in the opposite direction. And then change to downward facing dog, tuck the toes, lift the hips. Look forward in between the hands. Step or walk to the front of the mat. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, stand up, reach the arms all the way high to the sky, and bring palms together, center of the chest. So that's our full sun salutation. We'll get into it a couple more times. Inhale, lift the arms all the way up. And then exhale, bend the knees, fold halfway down. Inhale, half lift. Step back to plank. And then keep moving. Lower flat down to the mat. Peel the chest up. Push back to child's pose. Tug hands forward, hips back. Change to downward facing dog. Look to your hands and walk or step all the way forward. Half lift. Forward fold. Stand up, reach the arms to the sky. And bring the palms together, center of your chest. One more time like this. Inhale, lift up. Move with your breath. Exhale, fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, step back to plank. And then lower down to the mat. Inhale, peel the chest up for cobra, maybe a little higher each time. Exhale, child's pose, press the hips back. Next, exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, look to your hands. Walk your feet forward. Again, inhale, half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, stand up. Reach the arms to the sky. And bring palms together, center of the chest. Pause right here. Notice how breath and body feel now. Underneath that repetitive movement of the sun salutation, it's meant to warm up the entire body and get us to really be aware of how breath and body are moving together. That connection, awareness of breath. Often the best exercise in lessening stress and anxiety. Move and breathe together. Okay, we're going to keep going. Inhale, lift the arms back up to the sky. And then exhale, forward fold. Just like we've already done, half lift. Now, keep your right foot forward and step your left foot back into a lunge. Lower your left knee to the ground and bring your hands up to your front thigh. Move your hips a little bit down and forward until you find a stretch on your back thigh. Use the arms to enhance the pose even more. Lift the arms up to the sky. Should be a little more stretch there on the back thigh. And now lower the hands back down on either side of the front foot. Lift your back knee off of the ground and pause. Lift your back thigh a little bit higher, 1 or 2 inches taller. And add a twist, right hand to the sky. Then lower the right hand back to the floor. Step all the way back to plank, however you get there. Plank pose, I've always introduced on our toes today. You could also do plank from the knees. We're looking for straight arms and a sense of steadiness in the core, the central part of the body, the trunk of the body. Okay, flat down against your yoga mat. And then cobra, peel the chest up. full breath. And push back to child's pose. We go back to the same side, so come about halfway up, and then step your right foot forward. We've already been here. Lift the back knee up. Add a second twist, right hand to the sky. And then lower the right hand down. Step the back foot forward. And this is that bottom half, second half of the sun salutation. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Stand up, reach the arms to the sky. And bring the palms together, center of the chest. Check out the breath. Inhale. Exhale. Okay, there's a second side. Inhale, lift the arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Half lift. Now, keep your left foot forward and step your right foot back into the lunge. Lower your knee to the ground, bring your hands up to your front thigh. And try to move your hips a little bit forward and down until you find a stretch in the front of the right quad, the front of the back thigh. Hands can stay as is on your leg or take them up to the sky for a couple of breaths. And then everyone lower the hands down, lift the back knee. And then lift the hips a little higher to make the pose easier. And take the left hand high. Lower the left hand down. Step the left foot back to that plank position from the toes or from the knees. And then think one line, lower, lower down. To stretch across the chest and shoulders, press into the hands and feet. Back bend here, so as the low back sort of crunches in, we're trying to lift taller and expand through the upper back. And then child's pose. A little bit of a reverse push-up there. And we're going back, very similar to what we just did. Step the left foot forward. Lift the back knee. Left arm high. Lower it down. Good. Step all the way forward. And we've got the bottom half of that sun salutation. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Stand all the way up, reach the arms to the sky. Bring palms together, center of the chest. So I don't always do a series like this where we keep coming back to the same place. We are today so that we can continually measure the breath, measure the experience after each round. And then we know how much work and effort to put in the next time around. Inhale, lift up, reach the arms to the sky. Exhale, forward fold. This can get to be a lot of head up and down, up and down. Just keep the chin lifted and the eye gaze a little forward to make it most doable. Okay, right foot stays forward. Step the left foot back. Bring the hands right up to the front thigh. And we add a deeper twist this time. Left elbow to the outside of the right knee. Try it with the back knee up. If you need the stability, put the back knee down. And then come out of the twist and lift both arms up to the sky, high lunge. This also should give you a nice stretch and length down the back hip. Spin the back heel down to the mat so you open up to the side, warrior two, extend the arms in either direction, and look out over the front hand. Stay here for one more breath. And then cartwheel the hands down to the floor. Step back to plank. Lower flat down to your yoga mat. Peel the chest up for cobra. Go up and back, downward facing dog. Even here, you could keep looking forward at the hands rather than dropping the head. And then everyone, do look towards the hands and make your way to the front of the mat. Half lift, forward fold, stand up, reach the arms to the sky. Palms together, center of the chest. And we use that first side for a little knowledge to kind of teach the second side. Lift the arms up. Exhale, forward fold. We can take the half lift. Keep the left foot forward. Step the right foot back. So in your second side. Try it with the back knee lifted if possible. Walk the hands up to the front thigh. Find your balance. And then palms together and twist. Right elbow towards the left side of the thigh. The elbow can set down against the leg or stay more lifted. Untwist. Upright in the torso, lift the arms. Give it a couple of breaths right here. And then we're taking it to warrior two. Spin the back heel down. Open across hips and shoulders. Extend the arms out. Look out over the front fingertips. Okay, cartwheel the arms down around the front foot. Step back to plank. Remember, toes or knees here, especially if it starts to tax us, to take it to the knees. And then lower flat down. Lift the chest off the mat for cobra. And downward facing dog. Tuck the toes and lift the hips all the way up and back. So this is typically called a vinyasa flow class. Sometimes a vinyasa flow will be much faster than this. Sometimes it's even slower. It's just that connection of breath and movement together is what it's referencing. Step forward. And then inhale, half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Stand all the way up, reach the arms to the sky. And bring the palms together, center of the chest. Give it a breath. All right, I have one more big standing flow combination for us today. Let's do it right here. Lift the arms up. Exhale, fold. Stay with breath, body moving together. Inhale, half lift. We'll keep right foot forward. Step the left foot back into your lunge. Come all the way up to high lunge, arms straight overhead. And we're taking this into a balanced position, warrior three. Stand on just your right leg, lean way forward and try to lift your left leg off of the mat. It's like a T shape in the body. Warrior three. From warrior 3, rebend the right knee and drop the hands and foot down into your low lunge. We're still on this side. One more balance pose. Try to balance on your right hand and your right foot. Lift the left arm and left leg up into the air for half moon pose. And then again, lower it all the way down to your low lunge. Step back to plank. You should know it from here. It's toes or knees. Lower down. A breath in to lift the chest. A breath out to change child's pose and then downward facing dog. Look into your hands. Step or jump all the way to the front of the mat. Half lift. Forward fold. Stand up, reach the arms to the sky. Palms together, center of the chest. Okay, one more full sun salutation round. Here we go. Lift the arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Half lift. This time it's left foot forward. Step the right foot back. Come up to your high lunge. Lift the torso, lift the arms. You can take a slow hop in with the back foot and try for that T shape of warrior 3 as you bring the torso down, lift the right leg up. My kids will put their arms out to the side and do like airplane here. And then lower it all the way back down to your low lunge. Take a beat, a pause there. And then we're still on the left leg and we try half moon pose. Balance on the left arm and left leg. Lift the right arm and right leg up. Kind of open across the hips and shoulders. And then again, go all the way back down. Plank pose, step it back. Lower flat to your mat. Cobra. Child's pose to downward facing dog. And then look forward to the hands and make your move forward. Half lift, forward fold. Stand up, reach the arms to the sky. Palms together, center of the chest. You can keep palms here. Sometimes hand over heart and belly feels good. I like to rock a little bit side to side, even close the eyes. Check in, how are you feeling? Halfway through our practice, we've done all of the big sweeping movement. Okay, and I want to do one more standing forward fold. So once you're ready, open the eyes, bring your fingertips down to the floor. If it's okay, relax the head fully. Keep a little bend behind the knees, but mostly straighten the legs. Standing forward fold here is Uttanasana. And then if you can think about the picture of your body here, we want pretty much the same picture, but we're going to sit down and do the pose instead. So bend your knees, sit all the way down onto your mat and stretch your legs out. And then try to do the exact same thing. Reach the arms up and then exhale and fold over the legs. In our seated forward fold. Yeah, we know these stretches. Flex your feet, point your toes straight up, knees straight up towards the sky. Try to let your arms and your upper body kind of relax over the legs today. Stay here for several breaths. And now for the second half of the class, we're down on the mat. We'll hold the poses a little bit longer. And we still want to be aware of our breath. If your breath starts to tighten, there might be too much force in the pose. Some days I just need to stay a little more lifted in the forward bends to make it feel good. Going back to that intention, what movement, what practice will let us feel good today in our body? Okay, and then bring the torso all the way back upright. And take the soles of your feet together. The knees apart. The heels don't have to be as close as you can get them to the body. You can keep them kind of out in front of you so there's some space. And I just want you to make big circles with your torso and upper body, kind of rocking from one hip over to the other side. Big, big circles here. Yeah. And then circle in the opposite direction. Bring your torso as upright as possible, and then if there's space, do slide your heels in a little bit closer. Maybe hold on to the toes. Ever so lightly bounce your thighs. Like a butterfly, wings here, but we're not trying to fly fast. We're trying to fly slow. Lean over towards one side and take the arm overhead here. It can be hard to keep the feet like this and lean to the side. Push the feet in. See what happens. Lean over to the other side. You can also abandon feet together and go more towards like crisscross applesauce legs. Okay, come back to your center. One more thing, hands behind your back now. Lean back slightly and lift your chest. Okay, close the knees in. Take the little crease behind the knees. And I want you to try to balance on just your sits bones, just your bum. Lift your feet off of the ground. Make your legs as straight as they'll go while you're still holding on. And then take the arms off too. They can go out in front or more up to the sky. That's a little harder. Make like a V shape. Catch the legs again and set the soles of the feet down to the mat. Okay, so I want you to have your feet about as wide as your sticky mat with your hands behind you. And then like windshield wipers, the legs just go side to side here. And one hip is lifting up and then the other hip is lifting up. Knees touching towards your foot. Yeah, like that. Keep both legs over towards the right. Instead of leaning back, can you come more upright now? And twist. Left hand to the outside of the right leg. And then untwist. You can lean back to take the knees up and over to the other side. And then I'm going to try to sit up tall onto the hips at the twist. Sometimes it takes me a minute to find where I'm not catching in that back hip. Just give it a few breaths. Again, we're looking for what feels good. And come back to your center. Okay, we're going to do a similar type thing with the legs, but lying down on your back. So lie down on your back and still have the feet as wide as your yoga mat. Take your hands out to a T shape and drop both knees over to the right side. Now, can you pick up your right foot and set it to the outside of your left thigh? If that's too intense, keep your leg on the floor instead, your foot on the floor instead. But this exaggerates the stretch and length from outer hip to outer knee on that left side. Sometimes I take my arms overhead. I reach fingertips together and try to get even a little bit more stretch and length down the left side of the torso here. If the right leg is lifted, set it back down. Gently take the knees across the center and let them fall over to the second side. So again, your foot is pretty close to the bottom knee. And then you can exaggerate that more by placing the left heel to the outside of the right thigh. Arms stay out or take them overhead. A little more depth in the stretch with the arms overhead. Use what works for you. Take the arms back out to the T, set the left foot down, bring the knees back up. Take the feet a little more narrow, so like outer hip distance apart. Try to reach your hands down to brush close to or right at your heels. And then we'll bend the elbows as if our hands are like bookends right over the belly. Bridge pose, press your feet, shoulders, head down, and try to lift the belly up in between those hands. Squeeze your glutes a lot. Hamstrings strong, and keep lifting. Take a few breaths. And if your chin is just slightly tucked, you should be able to kind of watch the rise and fall of your breath, get a really good idea of where you're breathing from and to. And lower the hips back down to the mat. Cross the right ankle over the left thigh and point the right knee more out to the side in a figure 4 shape. Pull the left leg in. Okay, this might be plenty here, yeah? Good stretch through our outer hips. Take it a little deeper by reaching the hands through, behind the thigh, or even on top of your left shin. And then kind of squeeze in. We did plenty of lunges there for the first half of practice, taking our time to stretch and open in the hips. Here for the second half, work it out. Okay, you could stay here for a little bit longer, or hold on to just your right leg and send your left leg flying a few feet from the ground. So this is pigeon pose on our back, supine pigeon pose. If you have a lot more work and opening here, you could hook the forearms. Some people even like to cradle their lifted leg like a baby into the crease of the elbows around foot and knee. Any of those options. And then nice and slow, release your pose. Take both feet back down to the yoga mat. You can do the little windshield wipers a couple of times from side to side. And then we'll do the second side, starting with left ankle over the right knee and point the knee out to the side. All right, so I'm here in this figure 4. I already feel some stretch. Might decide to stay there a little longer. Enhance a little more depth, pull the right knee in. And again, that can be our stopping place. I like to think of all of our yoga poses as if they have stages, they have different little bus stops. Sometimes the bus stop that works one day is not quite the right stop the next day. You can go past it. You can always go back as well. Generally try to do the same thing on each side of the body, but we're not symmetrical. So if one side is a little bit different, maybe you're working with an injury or just reoccurring less mobility, more mobility on one side than the other, you gotta be good to yourself. Go for that flying pigeon, extend the right leg, hook the forearms around the lower leg or the crease of the elbows around the foot and knee. I keep a little lift of the head and shoulders. It's a crunch. I'm having to do more work in the abdomen, but it makes it doable for the stretch in the hip. Okay, and then lower it all the way down. And do those windshield wipers again, right and left. Okay, remember, right before we sat down, we did our standing forward fold, and then we did a seated forward fold. And we're going to try to do one more forward fold, but on our back. Take your legs straight up into the air, both of them. And then a crunch in the upper body. Lift your hands towards your shins, towards your ankles. Try to hold on so that you can lift your head and shoulders. And you're doing that round and fold in the upper body. I laugh a little bit because it always feels restrained and hard. It's not quite the release that I find in a seated forward fold. Doing the best here that we can, though. You can let the knees bend and everything kind of come in a little bit. Release the shoulders and head down. And lift your seat off of the ground. And then you're in a little bit of a different forward fold on your back. Just playing with that same shape in all the different directions. Wherever you are, come back to just a bend in the knees, like child's pose on your back. Pull your knees into your chest and hug around your shins and rock from side to side. Last big movement today. Take the hands back out to a T shape and lower both knees over to the right side. Once you're there, stretch the top leg straight. Try to catch your foot into your hand. And it's that same long stretch through the outer hip that we found a few times today. And place the feet back together, knees across your center, and let the legs fall to the second side. Can you kick the top leg straight and try to catch foot and hand together? So I'm holding right foot in my left hand. And bring it all the way back into the middle. Another little hug or squeeze around the shins. You can stay there or try holding onto your feet. If you're holding onto your feet, try to broaden the heels out over the knees for happy baby pose. Aptly named, we see little babies do this naturally in their day. Let a few breaths heavier out. From there, I want you to unwind to your final relaxation pose today. Relax the arms, the legs. Lie down on your back. Close your eyes if that's okay for you. I always welcome you to find a different end pose if this one doesn't work for you. If this traditional Shavasana will work for you today, stay here. Give yourself about 3 full minutes today of full release and quiet. No place to go. Nothing else on your docket except to relax and release right here, right now. I promise there'll be plenty to pick up after this. For right now, let it go. Bring your attention, awareness down in your toes. Give them a little bit of a tickle or a move. And then release the movement. And say release, relax, let go. And you can do that same sort of thing, like a little bit of movement higher into the legs, over the spine. And then say release, relax, let go. Just be. stay here for 4 more deep breaths. If it helps you to relax, count the length of your inhale, count the length of your exhale. And then ever so slowly stretch out. Add back in little bits of movement, fingers, toes, reach the arms overhead, whatever feels nice. You roll to one side in a fetal position and let yourself be there, be held by you. And then use your hands to help you come back to a good seat. And as you find your seat, bring palms together, thumbs to your sternum, as we did over and over at the beginning half of our class in those sun salutations, greeting in, noticing. And I hope you can take some of the practice, the work with the breath, the work with knowledge of breath and awareness into the rest of this day, into the fullness of your week. Thank you for this time. Namaste.